In accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act of the State of New Jersey, adequate notice of this work session regular meeting of the Franklin Township Council was made by the posting on the bulletin board in the municipal building, the township website, and electronically transmitted to the officially designated newspapers, indicating that this work session regular meeting would take place in the municipal building, council chambers at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, January 24, 2023.
Thank you. If we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing to be, for the invocation to be given by soon-to-be sworn-in Deputy Mayor Amberson. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As we gather here today as members of the Township Council, we pray that we are ever mindful of opportunities to render our service to fellow citizens and to our community, keeping in mind always the enduring values of life, exerting our efforts in those areas and on those things upon which future generations can build with confidence. Let us continue to strive to make a better world. Amen.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Deputy Mayor Amberson.
Here.
Councilwoman Francois. Mayor Kramer.
Here.
Councilman Onijaka.
Yes.
Councilmember Potosnik. Councilwoman Pruitt.
Here.
Councilwoman Udine.
Here.
Councilman Vasanella.
Here.
Councilman Wright.
Here.
We have a number of proclamations today, but we're going to start with the administration of the oath of office to Deputy Mayor Ram Anbarasan. And to perform that, we have our Commissioner Director, Chanel Robinson. I almost said the F word, not that F word.
Only a select few of us know.
Go ahead.
Ready?
I'm ready.
I state your name.
I, Sivaraman Anbarasan,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I would support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
all
the duties of Deputy Mayor
the duties of Deputy Mayor
of the Township of Franklin
of the Township of Franklin
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I will never be embarrassed about pronouncing your name wrong again. Yes, please.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you all so much for coming here today to celebrate my swearing in. I think this is the largest crowd for the Deputy Mayor swearing in the history. What? My son says you all didn't come for me, but that's okay. I'll take that. My wife isn't here either. She is in India taking care of her mother, but thanks to Bill and PJ, she's watching the ceremony on Facebook Live. Thank you, Bill. As an immigrant from India 44 years ago, I could have never imagined of serving as Deputy Mayor of New Jersey's 19th largest town. But I'm here. Thank you, Franklin, for electing me and entrusting me with this honor. I promise to serve you all with integrity and to the best of my ability always. This council is the best there is in the state.
Good.
Applause, please. We are very diverse, and we have diverse opinions in discussions, but we come together to make the right decision for the people of Franklin always. My mantra is better policies and less politics. God bless. Thank you again from the bottom of my heart. Better policies and less politics. Can you all say that? Better policies? Less politics. Thank you.
Commissioner Director, I see you sneaking out, but did you want to say something before you left? No, I guess not. Did you want to say something before you left, Commissioner Director? Time for brief words. I also see the county sheriff here. Did you have any words to say?
Thank you, sir.
Next, I am very honored to announce that we are going to administer oaths of office to police officers, sergeants, lieutenants, and captains after their recent promotions. Public Safety Director, give you the helm. Why don't we have all those that are being promoted come forward?
She's gonna do.
Right hand. I state your name.
I, Lloyd Fredericks,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially, and justly perform
impartially, and just
all the duties of
all the duties of
Captain of the Franklin Township Police Department
Captain of the Franklin
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best,
so help me God.
so help me God.
I state your name.
I, Jolanda Lacewell,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will
of the United States,
of the United States
Constitution
and the
State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith
to the same
to the same
and to the governments
and
established
to the governments
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people,
under the
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially, and justly perform
impartially, and just
all the duties of
all the duties of
Captain
Captain
of the Franklin Township Police Department
of the Franklin Township
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations. I left it impartial.
It's alphabetical.
Okay. I state your name.
I, Gregory Price,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support
of the United States,
of the United States
Constitution
and the Constitution,
of the State of that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear
to the governments established
and to the governments
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people.
under the
That I will faithfully,
and that I will
partially, and justly perform all the duties of
all the duties of
Lieutenant of the Franklin Township Police Department
Franklin Township Police Department
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my abilities.
So- I state your name.
I-
Solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support the
that
Constitution
I will support the
of the
Constitution
United States,
of the United
Constitution
States and the
of the State of New Jersey.
Constitution State
That I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear
to the same
to the same,
and to the governments established
to the governments established
in the United States,
in the United
in this state,
and in this state
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
And that I will faithfully,
And I will faithfully,
partially, and justly perform
impartially, and justly perform
all the duties of
all the duties of
Lieutenant of the Franklin Township Police Department
Lieutenant of the Franklin Township Police
according
Department
to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my abilities.
So help me God.
So help me God. Thank you.
I state your name.
I, Gilbert Martinez,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the
of the State of New Jersey.
of the State of New Jersey,
That I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear
to the same
to the same
and to the governments
and
established
to the governments
in
established
the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and this
under the authority of the people.
under the,
That I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially, and justly perform
impartially, and
all the duties of
all the duties of
Sergeant
Sergeant
of the Franklin Township Police
of
Department
the Franklin Township
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of
So help me God.
so help me God.
I just want to say briefly that I'm very proud of the men and women of the police department, especially our supervisors. Listen, I could not do the job that I do without all of them, the command staff, the supervisors, and the officers. And 2023, we have some great things in store for the town, and we're really, really going to shine this time. For the first time, I'm taking this away from our Councilwoman Pruitt, but I'm going to tell her, I just have to say it, this is the first time since I've been here we are fully staffed. So our TO is full. But we're still hiring because I'm sure people are retiring this year. So, so we're still recruiting. So, but thank you, everyone. Congratulations.
So I'm very proud of this group, and I'm very proud of the statistic you just heard, and I'm proud of our whole police force. They keep us safe. They run north when everyone's running south. I feel at ease as mayor with this police force because I know they're professional, and the beginning of being professional is having a command staff that starts from the director that is professional and educates and drives people to do things the way they should be done. So I'm, again, very proud of these people, and I'm going to single out one person, and I bet she's tired of hearing this story, but Captain Lacewell, when I first got on council, I did a ride-along. I did several ride-alongs, but on my very first ride-along, it was right on Hamilton Street. There was a car stopped, and I saw her, and as you can see, she's not the tallest amongst the group, but she was standing there, and there was a look on her face of, wow, I am not messing with her. And she told me that she learned that from you. And the then chief of police, Larry, said to me, someday she's going to be chief. So maybe not yet, but she's pretty close. And I'm glad to have watched you climb through the ranks. So congratulations. Thank you. Okay, bring on the cheerleaders. Come on up. Come on up. Come on up to the podium. Where's the coach? Okay. Whereas the Franklin High School cheerleading team under head coach Lauren Francis and assistant coach Damani Shelley is recognized and honored for their outstanding accomplishments, and whereas the team competed 2 outstanding performances on November 19th, 2022 at the UCA Northeastern Regionals, where in the small co-ed division, Franklin earned first place for the traditional routine. And in the small co-ed game day division, earned third place. Whereas the Franklin High School cheerleading team was awarded 2 bids for both routines to compete in the highest level of high school cheerleading at the UCA National Cheerleading Championship in Orlando, Florida in February 2023. And, Coach, come here. We're going to name all the names here, and I'm going to get them wrong, so the coach is going to read them. Start there.
Read them.
Yeah. Well, whereas the Franklin High School cheerleading team consists of
Rihanna O'Day, Maya Azar, Essence Brown, Sanaya Cullen, Sabria Drew, Jaden Freiberg, Faith Gibson, Ankita Jagadish, Ava Ling, Serenity Locke, Adil Lucero, Karina Mistre, Imani Murray, Alyssa Rafis, Amy Reyes, Ariel Richards, Caitlin Santana, Skylar Tavares, Kalani Thompson, Eugenio Vasquez Epsnall, Olivia Occupanti, Gabriela Fernandez.
Thank you. Don't go far. Now, therefore, we, Ed Potasnik, whose idea this was to bring them here, council member, and Philip Kramer, mayor, on behalf of the Township Council, honor the Franklin High School cheerleading team and their coaching staff for their outstanding achievements and commend them for their display of sportsmanship and leadership. So they're going to, where is this, in Florida? Yes. They're going in Florida. I just read that. Orlando. And they need money to get there. And there's a way to get there. There's a way to give money to them. And I donated today on the by PayPal. Coach, can you tell them how to do that?
So you can donate through our Franklin Athletics Booster Club. We're through Venmo too. We're accepting Venmo through @Franklin Booster. Or you can reach out to me. My email is lfrancis@franklinboe.org. You can reach out to me. I'd love to talk more about it. We're so proud of. I'm so proud of this team. We're all so proud of this team. Thank you to our parents. Thank you to everybody who's supported. We are so excited. So please reach out to me. I'd be happy to talk more about it at Franklin Booster or through a check at Franklin Athletics Booster Club. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Coach, if you can hand these out to the girls. And And to start off our fundraising, Officer Daly, Sergeant Daly.
Good evening, everybody. On behalf of the men and women of the Franklin Township Police Department, PBA Local 154, we'd just like to present a donation to the team. We couldn't be happier that they're making their way to nationals. Florida's a long way from Jersey, so we're happy to support them. We have a unique opportunity to provide security at a lot of their events, and we get to see firsthand the great work that they do day in and day out, practices, games, and just around the school. So congratulations to the team. Coach Lauren, congratulations. And congratulations to the board and the school district, Dr. Ravalli, Athletic Director Kenny Margolin, and most importantly, to the parents. Congratulations to all of you. Me being a parent myself, I know what it's like to cart these kids around. You're a full-time taxi driver. So congratulations.
So let's send these ladies to Disney World. I saw before the president of the BOE, Ms. LaCourte, here. Oh, there you are. Do you have anything to say about this? Come on to the mic. Yeah, you just stay up here for the next presentation.
So we are so very proud of everything that you've done. Wish you nothing but the best part about you guys. I love watching cheerleaders. When I go watch you, I was telling Coach, so I brought my pom-poms from to go Warriors. Mayor, you can have one, and you just have to give it back to me later.
Okay, thank you. To be young again. Thank you very much. President LaCourte, stay up here, and if we could get the other VOME members who are present, please come up to the podium. We have a proclamation for 2023 School Board Recognition Month proclamation.
We all need pom-poms. Yeah. All right, are we ready? Did we have everyone here? This side too? I think we're all like an angle. Is this side? Shift a little?
Oh, I go on this
Yeah.
side. How about that?
All right. All right. We'll get started? Yep. Everyone's good? Okay. All right. So we have another proclamation, and this one is 2023 School Board Recognition Month. Whereas New Jersey's public schools serve approximately 1.4 million children from pre-kindergarten through 12th grade, and whereas the direction of public education in New Jersey is charted locally by individual school boards whose 5,000 members serve as advocates for public education as they work with administrators, teachers, parents, and local residents. And whereas boards of education provide accountability to the public, they communicate the needs of the school district to the community, and they convey to school administrators the public's expectations for the school district. And whereas school board members receive no remuneration for their services, and whereas the Franklin Township Mayor and Council is justly proud of the academic, athletic, and social achievements of the students in our community, and whereas the New Jersey School Boards Association has declared January 2023 to be School Board Recognition Month, a time when all residents can acknowledge the contributions made by our local school board members. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Franklin Township Mayor and Council does hereby commend the service of the Franklin Township Board of Education and its members to our community and its children. Furthermore, that the Franklin Mayor and Council proclaims January 2023 as School Board Recognition Month in Franklin Township and urges all citizens to join in recognizing the dedication of local school board members, past and present, as we work together to advance educational opportunities for our children. This was done by Ed Potasnik. He's not feeling well.
Right.
So on behalf of us.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, so this is Dr. Michael Smith, Dr. Dennis Hopkins, Walter Bernie Jackson, Lori Maris, I'm sure everybody knows, Bill Grippo, I'm Nancy LaCourte, Ardaman Singh is our vice president, couldn't be here with us tonight, Nishita Desai couldn't be here, Sammy Shaban, and Dennis is right here. But this is the color that's in our veins, and we are remunerated for our services because you just saw what makes it all worth it. So we are really proud of the board team. Our administration is incredible. We have amazing students, and we're really proud of them, and good families to work with and a good community. So let's continue working together as a team, and thank you.
Thank you. Before we get on to public discussion, there are copies of the agenda over there and some copies of the ordinance that will be up for hearing today. We are now on to public discussion. If those of you who are leaving, if you can do it as quietly as possible. Public discussion, do we have a motion to open to the public?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor of opening to the public, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion is carried. We're open to the public. People may come up because of the large crowd. I'm going to limit it to 3 minutes per speaker. You may talk about anything regarding government. However, there is a separate section on item number 12 where we have a separate public hearing for the second reading of the ordinance. So you can speak about that during this public session, but I ask that you reserve your comments on that until then, though you can speak about anything regarding government. Again, 3 minutes a speaker. Please state your name and address. May only come up once. No yielding of time. Anyone wishing to speak, please come up to the podium. And I'd appreciate it if there'd be a line of people coming up so we don't have to wait for each person to walk from their chair to the podium. Okay.
Mayor, seeing no one coming up, a motion to close the public portion of the hearing, the public portion of the meeting at this point.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We have someone wishing to speak.
No, I'll table that motion for the moment then. Mayor said that.
Before you start, Mr. Manager, is there any way to increase the heat? Your mayor is shivering, and so is your attorney. Well, if you're warm, it doesn't come with grace. That's 2 degrees lower than I keep it at home, Mr. De La Rose.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mr. St. Rose, 45 Blair Avenue, Somerset, New Jersey, Block 114, Lot 2427. Good evening, Council. Good evening, everyone else in here. Just a little thing I want to put our head this evening. I'm concerned about my neighbors for the future. I got a notice about Berry Street development going to be happening on my block. So I want to know what's going to be built across the street from my house. Please propose ordinance if a developer built on that property across from my property. Please build sidewalks on their side, curve on my side to reduce the traffic flow, and also the new neighbors by putting trash on my property. My neighbor also appreciate it. Recently, there have been a lot of development in the Berry Street area, the Berry Street East area in Somerset. And yeah, can everyone help me? No one can? Okay. Thank you, sir. Recently, there have been a lot of development in my neighborhood, and there are no place for the kids to play and have fun. They need some type of recreational in the Berry Street and development area for RCM. Thank you all for hearing my concern and my neighbor's concern. Lastly, do you have any update on the township's sketch of the developed proposed area across my property, block 114, lot 2427?
So council will answer questions at the end of public session.
Thank you, sir.
So,
Yes, go ahead.
the answer to that question is, I believe, was answered. If I'm not mistaken, you attended a redevelopment meeting last night?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
And the redevelopment agency is the responsible party for the plan development in the redevelopment area, which is what you addressed the proper board last night, and any applications for development would go in front of the planning board, not the township council. So the next stop on your journey is when the planning board receives the application for development that has been worked out by the redeveloper RPM with the redevelopment agency, then that would be your next opportunity for input regarding how that parcel is developed.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
And I just wanted to quickly want to make sure I understood some of the other stuff you asked. You said something about you wanted sidewalks, and then you said something about trash, and the sidewalks is probably related to.
Said sidewalks, curbs, and green space.
Green space, but I thought you said something about trash.
Yes, so if the sidewalk on my side of the street, you're going to throw trash. Right now, there's no sidewalk or no curb. You should see the street.
Okay.
I'm the one, I work for the sanitation for Franklin Township. So I'm the free sanitation right now in Franklin Township because I'm the one and my neighbors clean my street.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to
Thank
make sure I heard that part.
Mr. Wright. Microphone, please.
Mr. Mayor, as far as the I'm on the redevelopment agency here in Franklin Township. And sidewalks, he didn't want sidewalks, he wants curbs. Now, my house is in the redevelopment area, and what happened was when RPM put its building in, on the other side of the street, they put in a curb. And the reason why that curb works is that had the curb not been there, they'd have been parking on my property because they park on my side of the street also. So the curb had to go there to stop everyone from parking on people's lawns. So definitely, we're going to work on putting a curb there to make sure that Mrs. Rose and everyone else's property over there, they don't drive up on the lawn. He's got a nice lawn, too.
Thank you, Council. Thank you, Carl.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
So, Council, I'd like to keep it that we answer questions at the end during council comments, because a lot of people here will be here a very long time if we individually answer each question. So anyone else wishing to speak?
Benjamin Guy, 35 Patton Drive. One of the things I want to point out is that I asked this specific question beforehand, but I just want to know specifically for the council and also the mayor specifically, just about the disparity study that's going to be occurring for the state of New Jersey that was established back in September 14th, 2021 by Governor Murphy. He has sent a task force about a wealth disparity study that's actually going on. I want to make sure, one is the township council aware. That's one thing. Second thing, if you're not, I would like you guys to review the ordinance 262 about the wealth disparity that's actually going on. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because it's very prevalent in the township of Franklin itself. And the reason why I bring that up is because when we're talking about resources, we're talking about resource allocation and how we actually perceive and actually do things here is actually very prevalent on how we actually treat certain people here in this area. And what we do is we have to look at how the task force that's actually going to be laid down from the state of New Jersey is actually going to do this for how we're going to impact this specific community, because we haven't been doing a very good job as far as outreach in this community. As stated with the gentleman that was actually here previously, it shows exactly how we're not relaying information, how we're not getting ahead of stuff, and how we're not communicating and actually doing the impact. One of the main things he said in the previous thing was that he talked about kids and youth. You just gave a reward out to the actual Board of Ed, but the question is from the town council, what are you investing in besides the youth center? What else are you doing besides that? Because yes, you built a building, but what else are you doing besides that? And again, one of the things that we're running into in this specific area is that we don't spend enough time on developing or getting ahead of stuff. We play retroactive, we don't play proactive. And it's time to be more proactive right now, as far as the town council is concerned. So the partnership that you potentially can do with the school board is one of the things that should be explored. I already relayed some of the information to Ram behind the scenes. I know you guys are trying to work through some other things behind the scenes, but you need to get ahead of it before the summertime hits. And the reason why I'm trying to tell this directly right now is because tax season is about to hit right now. Inflation is really going to take a toll on our people. SNAP, EBT, a lot of stuff that's going to go away because it's going to be retroactively back to COVID reenactments. So a lot of families are going to be hit. The question is what is the town council is actually doing to actually prevent a lot of stuff that's going to come down the pipeline, because we're being reactive again. We're waiting for it to come rather than being proactive. So my time is up. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everybody. Kareem Thomas, 41 Birch Avenue, Plainfield, New Jersey. Have a business here, 873 Hamilton Street, Resource Center. I'm here to speak on behalf of my young men. I mentor the youth. I work with a lot of the youth in the high school, the young boys, at-risk youth. We pick them up. I'm here today because I had a family that came into the office yesterday. The grandmother brought the mother and the son, and the son got in trouble in school. We've had the son. We've been working with him to keep him out of trouble, but the resources have dried up, and now these young men need somewhere to go. So we can't just always talk to them, which we meant to them, but they need work. They need resources. They need finances. They need the actual programs which we provide, but we're doing work out of our own pocket, right? And that's it's not sustainable. We're getting these young boys where they're at, and we're meeting them where they're at. We're going into the communities. We're talking to families, and it's tough. It's tough, right? Because the resources aren't there. We're doing the work. We've been doing the work. We've been around since 2015. The name of my organization is called Next Man Up, and we have school teachers. We have police officers. We have people of the community that are invested in doing the work for these young men, and I just want to make sure that they are given all of the resources and opportunities to grow. Because as of right now, we see the dire need. We see where the resources are getting behind, and they're getting into trouble, unfortunately. So we have over 30 young men in our program, right? At least 20 of them from Franklin area, and we're doing the work. So I would just like to know if there are resources available that were to be made, and can we have that conversation? Because our kids need, they're in desperate need right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak?
Ron is Tibbs, 25 Parkside. I'm going to limit myself to just two specific things. One, several years ago, in this community, let's say 10 years, I had 10 young men to be shot down and 2 young ladies in the community killed. The community had reached a point of crisis. We decided to take the old SCAP building and turn it into a youth center so we would have something what the young man is talking about now. And thanks to Kimberly Francois and some of the council members, which I thank you for, we had a community center built. That community center was built in lieu of the 10 young kids that got killed and the 2 young ladies as an at-risk youth center. At-risk youth center. The community has asked me to please to take that Franklin Youth Center name off and have it the community center. The community senior citizens and some of the other young adults in the community want that to be our community center and not your youth center, sir. We asked that we demanded, the community demand that that center be built for what it was used for, at-risk youth, and not a kiddie center for little kids 12 and 7 years old. That can be a part of it, but that's not why it was built. The community wants their community center. Some of the senior citizens want to use some parts of it. And of course, Bob, you know what I'm talking about. Yes, you do, too. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yeah, I know. Okay, but it's okay. It's
Mr.
okay.
Tibbs has the floor.
It's okay. That's number one. The community, that we want a community center. That's what we need. A community center. We got a building there. We ask that you give us at least 2 rooms upstairs so we can have community business be going on. Number 2, Jim Vassanella and the rest of you guys, the young people in the community need somewhere to live. We don't have nowhere to live. If anybody developers want to come in this town and build an apartment, let them build all they want to build. Because we need somewhere to live, as long as they keep the rent where we can be able to afford the rent. There ain't no more affordable apartments around here. Hey, you turn that thing off. I ain't been here no 3 minutes.
I'm sorry, Mr. Tibbs, your time is up.
Yeah, I know it is for you. Your time is coming, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Tibbs. Anyone else wishing to speak?
Seeing no one coming forward, Mayor, a motion to close the public portion of the meeting.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor of closing public portion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion is carried. We are now on to council comments. Mr. Wright.
Microphone, Councilman.
Just a couple of comments real quick, because we have a full night. The redevelopment agency, we met last night, and RPM and Leewood are our 2 main construction companies, redevelopers. And we met last night, and next month, I asked for them to bring a detailed list of what they built, what is in the future, and what is right now. And I asked them to put it on this size paper so that we can see exactly what they're doing. When you do an 8.5 by 11, it doesn't work because you don't see the whole thing. So it's 8.5 by 11, and you don't see the whole scale of what they built. So I asked for them to do that so that we were dormant during the COVID time, and since we're back in motion, I need something like that so I can look at it, because my eyes ain't too good no more. Speaking of Hamilton Street, we have, I believe, 4 buildings fully completed. And, yeah, there are about 4 buildings fully completed. And I asked our Economic Development Coordinator, Vince Dominic, to tell me what type of square footage we had total and how much was rented. And out of 44,000 square feet, we are 3/4 rented. Now, what does that mean? People are coming to Franklin. They may not be everything that everyone can use, but people do use the shops there. We had a Rite Aid on the corner that just might have left, but now they can't move at all because you have too many people there. So they're stuck. Because why? They want the money. So, you know, that's something that we should look at when we start talking about moving things around, building things. That was very important. Recreation. Everyone should be getting something in the mail about recreation coming up for the spring and the summer. Read it very carefully. I know all of you are going to sign up for something, whether it's yoga, Tai Chi, drop-in chess. What's that new game they play? Pickleball. Yeah. See, they know. So definitely read that book, okay? And the last thing, I believe, nope, that was the last thing. Mr. Mayor, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wright.
Mr. Wright? Yes. Open Space Advisory Committee?
You see, it takes Bob, who makes all that crazy money, to let me know what I should have done. And I want to say it this way. Now, the mayor and I you might see us beat each other up, but the mayor and I do get along. So don't think I'm beating him up and I don't like him. I do like him. But he gave me a heads up on an open space meeting that dealt with my part of the neighborhood, and it specifically looked at Neiman Williams Park. And I attended that meeting, and we was discussed about what they could do about the wetlands, garbage, all kind of good things. But I'm just going to read it to you. The Open Space Committee meeting for a discussion on applying for a Sustainable Jersey grant for the woodland trails at Neiman Williams Park. After providing my input to the community, the Open Space Advisory Committee members recommended applying for a $20,000 grant. Now, we definitely need that money over in my side of town for my park. And I say my park because I represent the people in that area, therefore it's my park. And because so many houses are close to that park, and because Leewood, one of our developers, is building next to that park, the Trails Committee, Open Space, things of that nature recognize that this is something that we should do because it's very valuable. And I want to thank the mayor for hipping me up to it so I could be a part of it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
You're welcome, Mr. Wright. Please put in the minutes, Mr. Wright was nice to me. And someone call a doctor, I think I'm going to pass out.
The meeting's not finished yet, Mayor.
Oh, could be. The night's still young. Councilwoman Udine.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. It's always nice to see when everyone's playing nice in the playground. So I don't have much. I just got back. I was on vacation, and this is my first council meeting. I do want to congratulate everyone that got sworn in today, including our deputy mayor. And I will be back on my business as usual, looking through the emails that I've received some emails from my residents. I will start responding to those tomorrow. And I will be in touch with some of our adult communities. I think there's things going on in those areas. So we'll be back to business as usual very soon. So thank you for being patient. and giving me that break time that I needed. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman James Vassanella.
Excuse me. Thank you, Mayor. Yes, congratulations. The cheerleaders, of course. Ram, congratulations to you. And our police officers who, the mayor said it pretty well before, and when all is said and done, they're there to serve and protect, and I can tell you from personal experience, they will be there to serve and protect when needed, and we are very fortunate to have. I look very forward to up-and-coming new management and leadership in the police department, and the ones that are already there, of course. Went to a few meetings. The one I'll mention about is public safety. Councilwoman Pruitt will give a more detailed readout on some of the things discussed there, but I'm just going to mention, I'm going to call my topic for tonight. I'll be as brief as possible. We got to drive more carefully. I hope our residents, I hope some of them are watching. Traffic and to no fault to the police, no fault to anybody in this room, has gotten completely out of control in this town. People tailgating you when you're going the speed limit, people passing you on double yellow lines on a residential road when you're going even 30 and a 25 and they're passing you doing 45. I'm not here to, I don't have an answer. I tell you this, I am so happy our police director who was here earlier is absolutely committed, if not her highest, one of her highest priorities. And she has a lot of ideas. We discussed some tonight. Some will be forthcoming as some studies come out of the county relevant to Easton Avenue and other areas. But please, whatever you can do to pass the word along. Every statistic that I've seen, whether it was national, state, county, I haven't seen our local stats exactly, to be honest with you, but everyone I'm hearing is just accidents, injuries, youth especially. Everything has just gotten worse and worse and worse. And the irony of it is, we were promised safer cars, but that's not a discussion for tonight. But it seems like the safer the cars get, the more dangerous the roads get. And just one little tidbit, I know there's a lot of distracted driving. Sometimes it's unavoidable to engage somehow, but even if it's hands-free, the more you could focus on the road, obviously the better, even if it's a hands-free device that it's legal. And the other thing I noticed, I know we talked about in the meeting momentarily before the public safety meeting, even when a driver isn't themselves using their phone, when you have other people, especially a passenger in the front seat, engaged in social media and interactions on the phone, that's a terrible distraction to the driver also. So I'm not here to tell people what to do or give you all the answers, but it's reached a critical mass, and anything you could do personally within your own family, friends, neighbors, please, 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 because I know it's not a real glamorous subject, but it's probably one of the biggest hurdles, unfortunately, consistently has plagued New Jersey and our township. So sorry to go on and on about it, but there's nothing I could think of more important this year than now that we're making headway and doing things with some of the other issues from last year. I really hope this gets out there as a priority issue for residents, and whether you're a commuter, a resident, or any one of us, of course. That's all, Mayor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Vassanella. Councilwoman Pruitt.
Thank you, Mayor. Just want to give a congratulations to all the folks that have received commendations and proclamations today, including our new deputy mayor. It's a fun title. Enjoy it. I enjoyed it for my year. Special congratulations to all the promoted officers. And I want to say that when I first got involved with council, my big thing was, the police department, how the police department interacts with the community, how the community feels about the police department, and kind of, taking account that relationship and seeing if we could build upon it. And I want to say that this is very probably unpolitician or elected official of me to say, but I do not want to make it sound like I'm taking credit for this, because I think the real credit goes to our public safety director, Corella Mayweather, for really making a tremendous impact on our police department. And I think where we were when I really started and where we are is just completely different. Just the amount of programming that we have in the community, the diversity in hiring, and you can see it reflecting in, the leadership, which is, really amazing to see. So I say all this because I want to acknowledge it, because it was something that I was really focused on during my time here. And, I don't often speak too much publicly. I promise you I'm very animated behind closed doors. They have to deal with me, but I am really, really proud of where we are now. And I think, I just wanted that to be acknowledged on the record. Our own police or public safety director, with the governor for the state of the state, like that Franklin was in the building. And I think, I just wanted to highlight that. So I guess pivoting to the more business-oriented things, I do want to highlight that there is a senior advisory meeting this Friday. So the seniors have a couple of events coming up. Some are going to be open to the public. I know the seniors are going to have tax preparation. I think they're partnering with AARP. As it gets closer, I will be happy to fill in folks with the dates. And also just something that I want to put on people's calendars. I was lucky enough to be a judge previously when they were able to have it in person, and I will be a judge again this year. Seniors Got Talent, so it is a talent show for our senior community. And that's going to happen March 24th, so just put it on your calendar. It was a great event, great show. I also want to highlight that, we've been having a lot of conversations about what goes in the community, what the community needs, and I just wanted to highlight that I received, it had to have been technically last year, a really thoughtful letter from a resident speaking about how we can rethink some of our vacant public consumer spaces. I know we're, having a lot of conversations about what should be replacing this, what can go there, do we need to put residential, can't we do something else? So I did want to highlight that. It was a really thoughtful letter about, could we put recreational activities there? This would be a great place for that. So I wanted to kudos and shout out to that resident for sending that, and say that I'm very much in alignment with what you're thinking. There's a lot of creative things that we can be putting in some of these spaces. So then I want to move to the very last thing, that's our public safety. We had a public safety meeting right before this. So Police Director Mayweather shouted it out. As of today, we have no vacancies, so that is a big deal. For much of my time, we were running on some sort of deficit by a few officers. Also want to highlight that the New Jersey State Police will be having their Safe Schools initiative. So you may see increased visibility of state police vehicles in and around school areas. I also want to highlight there has been an increase in texting and phone call scams. So the topics generally are romance, Bitcoin, grandparent scams. If someone contacts you on social media or text, and they're like, "Hey, I love you. I want to come visit you. Please send me $5,000 in Bitcoins," that is a scam. Please do not send them money, please. And we can chuckle, but these things do happen, and they do prey on vulnerable people. So, if you get a call and your grandchild is in jail in Tupelo, Mississippi, and they need you to send bail money in, Google gift cards, that is also a scam. Please, please, just pause. So just be mindful, because there is an increase of those. And I'll also say, and obviously Councilman Vasanella touched on it, there will be cracking down on aggressive driving on our roads. So be prepared for increased Franklin Township police activity, especially when it comes to aggressive and reckless driving. And also the Community Relations Bureau office, starting in February, will also be doing tax preparation services, if that is something that you need to avail yourself of. So with that being said, I hand it back to you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Deputy Mayor Amberson.
Thank you, Mayor.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh.
I couldn't see you there. Councilman Onijaka, we'll get back. Thank you.
I want to use this opportunity to congratulate our new deputy mayor. No doubt, I know I've known him. Council, I know he's going to do a very good job for the city and also with the council members. Well, too. Another thing is the newly promoted public officers. I congratulate them. No doubt in my mind, I know they are doing a good job with less than the full capacity of their workers. Can't imagine, right now they have a full staff, what they're going to be doing. They've already warned us about driving in Franklin. Now they have a full that they will be able to track drivers driving above the speed. I don't have much to say than that. All I have now.
Thank you, Councilman. Now, again, Deputy Mayor.
You're not going to say my full name, Mayor? Again?
Amberson.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. I have been away as well in India for a couple of months, and this is my first meeting since I returned for the year, actually. My wife, as I said, she's still there, and she very much wanted to participate in the swearing in, but she's with her 88-year-old mother. She doesn't get a lot of time to spend with her, so I kind of asked her to stay with her some more time while I come back to take care of business. Anyway, just for the record, we just celebrated last week our 42nd anniversary. Thank you, thank you. I know some of you are thinking, how does she put up with this guy all these years, right? But she does. But anyway, so there's another lot that I have to report. I did attend a couple of committee meetings, fire prevention, as well as financial oversight. I'm sure Mayor is going to talk about it. We discussed some capital improvement projects for the water department. More details to follow on that. Most importantly, the best week I had last week, I was an early supporter for our cheerleaders when I found out that they won the state and then they were going to go to nationals and they needed financial support. I was an early supporter for them, and so they sent me a message to come and visit them at school when there's a basketball game. So I went there on the 17th, and beautiful facility at the high school, and I took a picture with them, and I congratulated them, and I wanted to bring them back after the nationals, and it's a team that we should be all very proud of. And then I stayed behind and watched basketball match with the Franklin High School team. Pretty good team. They won the match, and I think they're on a winning streak, 3 in a row, I believe. I read in the papers, right? And for the record, I used to be a basketball player, so it kind of brought back memories. And I was the big man in my team in India. Lastly, but not the least, the Human Relations Commission is going to meet this week, and we are going to have the Franklin Chamber of Commerce newly elected officers would be coming and talk about their goals and mission. And we are also happy to introduce 2 new commissioners, Pete Clark, as well as Dr. Samba. That's all I have got, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Maybe I should have played basketball in India. So congratulations to the Deputy Mayor and the cheerleaders. Please look in your hearts, and if you can give some money, not everyone on that team has money to go down there, so anything we could do to get them down there, it's a wonderful opportunity for them. let's see if we can get them there. Again, congratulations to our police officers. Help keep us safe. Financial oversight was about the water infrastructure. It's aging. We've been maintaining it, but sometimes we're playing catch-up when there's a water break, and we're planning on what to do in the future. One of the biggest problems is that we haven't raised water rates in 10 years, and the rates have gone up that we pay for the water has gone up 19% in those 10 years. So we're going to try to figure out the best way to compensate our water income. Lastly, February 6th, there is a town hall meeting on, well, it started out to be on assessments. So how does the assessor, the property assessor, assess properties, how that translates into your taxes. And then we're having a representative from the state, Assemblyman Danielson, has arranged for someone from the state to come down to talk about how you can get property tax rebates from the state, and they'll have a few people here to help people fill out the forms to get those rebates. So don't miss the February 6th Town Hall meeting. Manager.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have a number of upcoming events to report on. The first is the Police Community Relations Bureau will be hosting another 8-week tradesman program course. This has been a continuing program offered by the Police Community Relations Bureau at their building at 935 Hamilton Street. This program has the goal of teaching students between the ages of 13 and 18 tool familiarization and tradesman skills. They'll be taught basics of hand and power tools while making a class or individual project. Spaces are limited, so if you're interested in this particular program, you can do so through the Township's website. If it fills, then you can be placed on a waiting list and also express interest in future classes. There's also an upcoming, Cooking with Cops, also hosted by the Community Relations Bureau, and Cooking with Cops is designed to bring youth and police together in the kitchen. Children will learn food and kitchen safety, food preparation, proper food storage, and exposure to a variety of cooking methods. They will make simple but flavorful meals, which will be enjoyed at the end of each class. That runs between February 10th and March 24th. Classes are on Fridays between 2:30 and 5:30. They take place at Franklin High School. Registration also is on our website. Deadline's February 3rd. Again, classes are limited, and so if you're a parent listening, your child is interested in learning how to cook, it's taught by actually one of our police officers who is also a chef, and so he will teach your child how to cook. Also, Friday night drop-ins for our therapeutic recreation program for teens and young adults with special needs over the age of 13. Games, karaoke, and just a fellowship and friendship with others, arts and crafts and theme days. They're held on Fridays, so the upcoming month, February 3rd, 10th, and 24th, from 7 to 8:30 at the Community Center. If you have a young adult that would enjoy participating in those programs, please contact our Recreation Department. Information is on the website. As Councilwoman Pruitt mentioned, free tax preparation for low and moderate income household is available. To register for the tax preparation, you can do so through the website. United Way of Northern New Jersey will be working with residents to prepare their taxes. It can be done with in-person appointments as well as virtual, and also for those who wish to complete their own tax return, assistance is available through the United Way. There is a community engagement night The community is encouraged to attend for a special presentation from the Safe and Sound Sexual Assault Response Team. Safe and Sound Sexual Assault Response Team is the county nonprofit organization that assists those who have either been the victim of sexual assault or domestic violence. And they will be making a presentation to the community at the Youth Center on February 21st. You can meet the staff at 6:30. There'll be an informational session at 6:45 and a facility tour of the Youth Center at 7:15, 429 Lewis Street. Again, you can register on the Township website. There's a free youth basketball program that's being sponsored by the Police Community Relations Bureau and the Franklin Youth Center. It will be held at the Youth Center. Classes, this is almost a teaching class for youth basketball more than a competitive program. Program runs Tuesdays and Thursdays from 5:30 to 7:30 if your child, for boys and girls, or if your child is interested, you can sign up on the Township website. That I usually don't report about my activities, but I sat here in silence as all of the council members gave their report, so I will report on something that all of us did a little over a week ago. Everyone up here on the dais attended the 25th annual Martin Luther King Foundation breakfast. I have had the great pleasure of attending all 25. I started back started a long time ago. The first one was held at what is now the Franklin Middle School, Hamilton Street campus. It was then the Franklin High School. I was a neighborhood police team officer serving the 4th Ward neighborhoods at the time. And myself and my officers attended that breakfast on Martin Luther King Day. I guess 25 years ago was, what, 1998? I think that's when it was, 1998. And I have had the honor of attending every one since then. And for those of you who have been there, you will know what I'm speaking of when I say that while it's a celebration of Martin Luther King's birthday, in our case, I think it's more of a celebration of the diversity of the community that I've served for my career and that the people who attend either serve or live in. It is, I think, unlike probably any other community celebration anywhere, in that while it celebrates Dr. King's life, it celebrates this community even more so, which is a very great honor for me to be able to attend that annually, and every council member up here, and I will speak then also to the council members who were not able to be here today, were in attendance on Monday of last week. So it was something that, if you're interested, they had a great speaker. Our Lieutenant Governor, Sheila Oliver, was the keynote speaker, and it is something that for next year, if you haven't heard of it and you might want to attend, I would suggest that you look into being in attendance. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councilwoman Pruitt reminded me to wish people who celebrated a happy Lunar New Year. I forgot to address some of the questions from the audience. Mr. Guy, I will look into the wealth disparity study. It is a state program, but I will look into it. The gentleman who spoke about the mentoring program, we'll have to look up what resources we can find. And to Mr. Tibbs, it's a youth center. We are now continuing with the agenda.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
I'd be remiss if I didn't say this one thing about Franklin High School.
Yes, sir.
And I'll just read you the blurb, because they're not here. If you walk in the halls of Franklin High School this week and see something shiny catch your eye, it will be Cameron Anderson's recently won gold medal. Anderson took first place in the shot put at the New Jersey State Interscholastic Athletic Association State Group 4 relays at the at Bennett Center in Toms River. Now, the reason why it's important is he went first and his teammate came in third, and they had somebody squeezed in the middle. So when they're down there in Tom's River representing you from the school, I need to clap for that because the boys did good, not only athletically, but educationally. So, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I think we need an applause monitor. So we're now on to approval of the minutes. I present the following minutes to Township Council for their approval. The reorganization work session regular minutes of January 3rd, 2023. Do I have a motion on the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Anyone want to make some corrections? Madam Clerk.
Deputy Mayor Barrison?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Oni Jaka?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pruitt? Yes. Councilwoman Udine?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
Time to pay the bills. Warrants in the amount of $732,989.21 on January 24th, 2023 are presented to Township Council for payment. Do we have a motion on the warrants?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Anyone would like to pull an item or discuss an item? Madam Clerk.
Deputy Mayor Barrison?
Yes.
Mayor Kramer?
Yes.
Councilman Oni Jaka?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pruitt?
Yes.
Councilwoman Udine?
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella?
Yes.
Councilman Wright?
Yes.
We're on to number 12, public hearing and adoption of ordinances on second reading. The first reading, which we have none tonight, is to announce to the public that we are considering an ordinance. The second reading is when we will vote on it to either pass it or fail it, and there's a public discussion prior to that vote. Ordinance 4391-22, an ordinance amending the code of the Township of Franklin, County of Somerset, State of New Jersey, more particularly Chapter 112, Land Development, to eliminate warehouses as a permitted use in the business and industry zone and to make the related ordinance amendments. Is presented for public hearing and final adoption. The public hearing has been noticed as required. Do we have a motion to open to the public?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor of opening to the public, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion is carried. We're now open to the public, against 3 minutes each. No yielding of time, may only come up once. This time, we can only speak about this ordinance. Anyone wishing to speak, please come to the microphone. I'd appreciate it if people would line up so we don't have to wait for each person to make the journey.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, members of the Township Council, members of the public. My name is Francis P. Linus. My offices are at 11 Clyde Road here in sunny Somerset, New Jersey. I'm pleased to represent Northern Nurseries. Northern Nurseries is 487 Elizabeth Avenue, lot 60.01 in block 507. Northern Nurseries, among other litigants, are litigating ordinance 4371-22, which is not the subject of tonight's hearing, but we are here tonight on behalf of Northern Nurseries, objecting strongly to the adoption of 4391-22, which is the subject of tonight's proceedings. I'll take a couple of minutes, since I don't think 3 minutes is enough time to offer the amount of objections that we do have. I will just very briefly indicate that from a legal perspective, it is our position, Northern Nursery's position, that there's nothing in support of this ordinance. It's nothing by way of any studies or any background or any materials that were done back in 2016. We believe that the master plan that was adopted in 2020 and took 4 years to adopt is the master plan that's effective in the state of New Jersey and in the Township of Franklin. And we don't think that this updated master plan that was adopted by the Planning Board last week has any significance in terms of planning and zoning. As a practical matter, departing from the legal objections, I think the council ought to take a step back It seems that there's a rush to judgment both on the 4371-22 ordinance and on the 4391-22 ordinance. It's okay to listen to the public. That's what you're here for, but you've got to listen to all the public. I think that I believe the exclusion of the commercial interests of the property owners, and again, Northern Nurseries is a property owner. They've been in this town since 1998. I heard Mr. Vaughn Locker mention the Martin Luther King's breakfast, 1998. Well, Northern Nursery's been here since 1998, and their interests have not been heard. And I don't think that the council or the planning board, in whatever they've done, have listened carefully to the interests of everyone in this municipality. We heard the deputy mayor tonight be sworn in saying policy over politics. And that's what we're here for, policy over politics. And the policy has to be a sound one. And I think this particular ordinance is not sound policy.
Good evening. My name is John Chadwick, and I'm also Northern Nurseries is a client of mine. This document, this ordinance, took light speed in terms of planning in my experience. I've been working with municipalities and within Franklin Township for over 40 years. Never did I see an ordinance move as quickly as this, and the magnitude of this ordinance, when you put it in context with the effort that went into the 2020 plan, there just is no relationship whatsoever to those two documents. And the 2020 plan came to grips with an extremely important issue within the community, and that is its fiscal base. The township has always enjoyed a large gradable base. Gradable base currently in the office component is dead in the water. It was well recognized. The warehouse was one of the solutions to repurpose and or redevelop those areas. That may not be the only solution, but to simply take an axe and cut it out without really thinking about what the ramifications are to the fiscal condition of the community, in my judgment, is not long-range planning. Action to public interest in terms of what they think needs to be done. That's not the planning. You have all the people at the table to discuss what is the best solution. Those are my comments.
Thank you. Madam Clerk or Mr. Manager, is that monitor not available?
It didn't turn on.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. Go ahead, sir.
My name is Charles Armour. I'm at 20 Clyde Road, Somerset, New Jersey, and I've been there since 1971. I remember when Mayor Kramer first ran for public office. He came into my home and talked to me and my wife. He asked for my vote, and I gave him my vote. I'm concerned about the placement of warehouses across the street from my house, and I feel that I know I'm not too familiar with the formalities of what I do, but I do know that I object because I know it's going to lower and depreciate the value of my property. Okay, and I do know that when they first built the professional office buildings across the street from me, we had a large fight because we did not want a gas station, we did not want retail, we did not want certain other things. So when they decided for professional offices, we were more than happy to let that go. But now I think that what is going on is really not in my best interest, and that is why I'm here.
Ladies and gentlemen of the council, good evening. My name is Rob Simon. I'm an attorney with Herald Law in Warren, New Jersey. I am here on behalf of 7 property owners who own 8 properties in the BI zone. I will not take up my 3 minutes naming each one of them. I will send a letter into the council, to the clerk's office, identifying them because I don't want to eat into my 3 minutes. In addition to which, I respectfully contend that given the fact that I am representing 7 entities comprising of 8 properties, that limiting my time to 3 minutes is legally invalid. There's case law from the appellate division that supports that. In addition to which, I will say that with regard to the ordinance, that will certainly have a significant adverse impact on each of my clients' property rights, their property values, their multi-million-dollar investments in their properties. After investing that money in reliance on existing zoning that is to be removed. I will note with regard to this process that notice under NJS 40:49-2 is invalid for purposes of this proceeding. That notice, that published notice, failed to identify the location where this hearing was going to take place. A published notice, if you read it, is nonsensical, probably because of formatting issues with the newspaper, but a normal reader cannot follow what it intends to provide by way of a full reading of the ordinance as required by statute. And as you know, and as counsel will instruct you, notice is jurisdictional, and failure to have valid notice invalidates this proceeding. As this council is aware, failure to comply with the notice renders the ordinance invalid, and in fact, as referenced by Mr. Linus, even the master plan amendment upon which this ordinance is purportedly based was also technically invalid. That notice didn't even say that the master plan amendment was subject to a public hearing. There has been no studies, there's been no noise studies, air quality studies, tax-based studies, traffic studies to assess roadway, fiscal, noise, traffic, and related impacts caused by removing warehouse use as a permitted use from the BI district. You had wonderful children in here from the high school who enjoyed great success doing cheerleading in competitions. What do you teach the children? You teach them about integrity of the process. And proceeding this way is not demonstrating integrity. It is illegal. And we contend that the ordinance should be not passed. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Peter Steck. I'm a planning consultant licensed in New Jersey, based in Maplewood. I happen to represent the same property owners that the prior speaker, Mr. Simon, is going to reference in detail. I have some observations. First of all, in order to exercise your zoning powers, you have to have certain mandatory elements of a master plan, and one of them is a land use element.
All right, sir, your address.
80 Maplewood Avenue, Maplewood, New Jersey. One of them is a land use plan element that, according to the municipal land use law, takes into account other elements, such as the circulation plan, existing land uses. The other thing you have to be aware of in terms of a zoning ordinance is, according to the municipal land use law, it has to be drawn with reasonable consideration to the character of a district. You can't just wipe away what is there today. You are adopting an ordinance from a master plan, which, in my opinion, a master plan amendment, which is defective. It consists of a cover page, 2 pages of text. The top half of the first text page is the only discussion of policy statements, and it says there's been an increase in warehouse development since 2018, and you want to prohibit all warehouse development. What that ignores is the comprehensive plans that predated that. There's a 2021 circulation plan that says nothing about prohibiting warehousing. There's a 2020 master plan update that, if you recall, recommended changing the M zones to the BI zone, and it promoted warehousing, saying that it is the purpose of the change is to encourage warehousing as well as other non-residential uses. Even your last comprehensive master plan of 2006 didn't distinguish between industry and warehouses. They were all treated in the same category. Warehouses have changed over time. The Institute of Traffic Engineers say that there's multiple types. Some of them produce less traffic than manufacturing uses, yet you're not touching manufacturing uses in this zone. You're only prohibiting that category. And I dovetail that at the end there seems to be a discussion about, well, applicants can always go for a use variance if they're prohibited. Well, first of all, you eliminated all parking requirements in your ordinance for warehouse uses, but you are to do things predominantly legislatively rather than by variance. So I think that's an improper way to address the situation. I don't think you're following the municipal land use law, and I think that will be a fatal defect. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Joshua Kudre. I'm an attorney from the law firm of Sills, Cummis & Gross, and we represent Heller Industrial.
Chris, address, please.
1 Riverfront Plaza, Newark, New Jersey, Sills, Cummis & Gross. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So, as I mentioned, we represent Heller Industrial, who is the owner of nearly 70 acres of property in the township. 5 of these properties are actually developed with warehouse and distribution facilities, while the other 4 are currently vacant but were planned for future development. Heller has operated in this township for over 40 years. Their facilities employ local residents, and they pay more than $800,000 a year in taxes. I represent, in my daily work, a number of different type of industrial developers. Heller is different. They build and manage all of their own facilities, and each project is viewed as a long-term investment. These investments have helped stabilize the local economy here in the Township of Franklin. Heller's philosophy is that business is not separate from the community. An essential component and guiding principle of their business program is to make sizable investments in the communities in which they live and operate. Working with this Township Council, Heller established and funded a foundation that solicits private corporate contributions and distributes grants to community-based groups. These efforts were instrumental in the construction of the senior center. So I will say that while Heller may not vote in an election, they are certainly a member of this community as much as anyone else in this room. Heller's commitment to the community is being repaid with yet another attempt to destroy its property rights. And I'm not being hyperbolic here. You'll recall we were before this very body in July to object to ordinance number 4371-22, which you heard Mr. Simon and Mr. Linus speak about. That ordinance is flawed in many of the same ways that this one that we're considering here this evening are. Again, there was a lawsuit filed by 9 property owners, including my client, and the pending litigation revealed that. In response, what did this council do? Instead of acknowledging its missteps and trying to work with Heller and the other property owners in the BI zone, they doubled down and are now trying to outright ban all warehouse uses in the BI zone. So we're here again to implore you to vote no and reconsider this action. I will not repeat the myriad of fatal flaws, in my opinion, legally and procedurally, with this proceeding, the proposed master plan reexamination. I will offer a couple points. The town has unquestionably failed to provide Heller and the other plaintiffs with any meaningful opportunity to participate in this process. The master plan process has been rushed, and it's fatally flawed for several reasons. There's been no studies to quantify this drastic action that's been taken. And it's interesting to note that the town previously touted the state's planning commission guidance as a linchpin for this action. That guidance document, which was previously held up as the reason to begin this tortured process, has been totally disregarded. There's no consideration for the tax base here. Unquestionably, we're going to destroy that. Right? So I could go on. Obviously, my time is going to be up. But I just would implore you all to please reconsider this action and invite stakeholders in. It's important to hear from every member of this community. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Bill Robertson. I'm from the D. Francesco Bateman law firm, 15 Mountain Boulevard in Warren, New Jersey. And I'm appearing tonight on behalf of Shoe Property Holdings, LLC. That entity is the owner of property located 400 Cottontail Lane. My client has been the owner of that property and operator of that property for 26 years. Owner, taxpayer, member of this community for 26 years. And overnight, he faces the prospect of having the use that he has operated at that facility for 26 years disappear, and he becomes a non-conforming use. 26 years, and he has 3 minutes. 3 minutes to participate in the discussions before this council. As I won't repeat the comments that have been made in detail, but I would note that this property owner, Mr. Shoe, has not had any opportunity for any meaningful discussion or participation in what is taking place in that zone. There were absolutely no traffic studies, no environmental studies, no noise studies, no fiscal studies. As mentioned previously, the master plan amendment was rushed without consideration. It is, in my judgment, fatally flawed, and on behalf of my client, I would urge this council to table the ordinance, reconsider it, consider the property owners and the impact on those property owners, and come up with an ordinance that actually is based upon some rational facts, studies, and distinctions between the different uses in that zone. So on behalf of my client, obviously there's not much time, but we would urge that the ordinance not be adopted this evening. Thank you.
Dave Robinson, 349 Biltmore Lane, Somerset Run, and I'm not an attorney. I'm a resident in a senior community of one of about 2,500 in the area surrounding the discussion of these warehouses. 2,500 residents who pay roughly $10,000 a year in taxes per unit with virtually no services, no kids in the school system, very little police coverage because we're gated communities. We may use the senior center, but other than that, we rely on the town council to protect our interests and our home property values. As I said before, as I think enough is enough, with all the new warehouses in the area that have been built recently, the Amazon, the one behind the ShopRite going up, the one behind the Mavis location, the one between the donut shop and Canal Walk. When is enough as far as these warehouses are concerned? I beg that you consider the quality of life of the residents in the surrounding area and vote yes on this ordinance. Thank you.
Stephen Toth, resident since 1954. I am not an attorney, just like the gentleman before me, and I would also like to add that one of the previous speakers did mention that they, although they don't live here, are as much a resident of the township. They are not. They are not. We live here, we see every day what goes on here, and I propose that, the proposed ordinance I would like to see adopted.
You just need to tell us where you live, Mr. Toth.
1030 Hamilton Street, I am smack dab in the middle of B1. I have been approached by developers, and in my discussion with the developers, some of the residents here I know have been applauding some of the attorneys and the developers in that it's going to help the tax base of the county. But in speaking with the developers who was trying to get me to sell my place, which I will not, I said, are you going to really help the township in terms of the taxes? Because I am not against anything. Times change, the town changes, the landscape of the town changes, things evolve. I do understand that. But one of the issues I said was that in the governor's recent State of the State address, Governor Murphy did mention that we are no longer going to be a state that gives away our land, who says to developers who want to come here, we will give you free taxes for 5 or 10 years. When I spoke with the developer that wanted to buy my property, I said, are you going to try to seek some sort of tax relief where you don't have to pay taxes for a while? And he says, if we can get it, we're going to go for it. So while everyone's applauding the developers because you think they're going to help you, I don't know if they really are, and we won't know that until they come in with a proposal, approach the township, and maybe ask for relief, and we won't know that until after the fact. So that is my big concern. Again, I'm not opposed to change. I love the town. I just want things to be done right, and that's it. Thank you very much.
Good evening. I'm Steve Finkelstein. I live at 46 Johnson Road and have lived there since 1985. I am somewhat concerned, as mentioned by the other attorneys, and fair disclosure, I am an attorney, and fair disclosure, I work with one of the attorneys in this room. That being said, I'm going to address the council as a long-term taxpayer. I'm appalled that this council is taking this action on such a summary, flimsy pretext of residents who are only recently residents in this town who are complaining that, based on their observations alone, warehousing and the commerce that they will generate for this town will be detrimental to the town and to them. My point here is that each of you should be doing research on this. I'm a taxpayer. The ratables in this town are declining. The warehousing use in this town would be a boon to many of our vacant properties. You can laugh, but when your taxes go up
Address the
and
council.
you're taxed out of your houses,
Address the council.
these people are going to realize sooner or later when their tax bill goes up that they've made a grave mistake and they can no longer afford to live in their houses. I don't want to pay any higher taxes because of some short-sighted policy driven by nothing more than concerns of short-term residents. If you're going to do this, do this as elected officials with some fair consideration. Look at the facts, get the data. If the data supports a warehouse ban, so be it. But do your homework. Don't just have a knee-jerk reaction to 200 senior citizens showing up at your door.
Stop the clock. Stop the
46
Excuse
Johnson
me.
Road.
Sir, you're addressing us, not them. Please, everyone. It's an emotional time, I understand that, but show respect for each other. Excuse me. Show respect. I hope your words in the future will show respect.
I strongly urge this council to take the requisite time to consider all the angles, to do all the studies, to understand how this ban will affect the town's tax base and how it will affect the town's taxpayers. Because the taxpayers of this town have to pay more money because of a short-sighted policy, there'll be more anger than you know what to deal with. Thank you.
Linda Russell. I'm a resident of Somerset Run, 502 Crossfields Lane. I was just reading an article recently, and I wish I could find it, but I can't. And what it was talking about was all the warehouses that were being built in residential areas and how detrimental it is to the residents, especially older residents. We have 4 communities that are 55 and up with many, many residents. And many of us live close to these warehouses. And I wonder if you all have really done studies on that with all the trucks and the cars and everything coming and going, and how that's going to affect our pollution. So if you haven't, I would like to encourage you to look into that, because it's critical. I mean, we're not getting any younger, and in most cases, we're not getting any better, sorry to say, health-wise. And I don't feel that we need any more obstacles. So thank you very much for listening.
Is that okay? My name is Lynn O'Carroll. I live at 91 Smith Road and have lived in this community for many, many years, as you might infer from my my age. I want to tell you that I just drove down and back to Florida and got back about 2 weeks ago. I want to tell you that these huge storage buildings are everywhere now. And to show that and prove that, I have a copy of the Wall Street Journal of January 6, 2023. And in that article, it states that warehouse leasing fell off at year end. My point is that when you look at these two things together, there is, if we approve this planned building, we will likely be stuck when it defaults. We will have ruined the land. We will be stuck with half-construed water and sewer services, and the value of the property of the people who live in the development nearby will surely go down. And I have that article here if anyone wants to look at it. Thank you.
Good evening. Michael Bryan, 40 Bryan Court. I'm born and raised in New Jersey. In my 80-plus years of living here, I've seen a lot happen in this state. And one of the things I've noticed is that the overbuilding of any industry or any business eventually peaks and goes backwards and backfires and hurts the community. You could look at vacant stores with the overbuilding of shopping centers. They can't rent them. If you look what happened in the chemical industry of New Jersey, where they overbuilt factories and polluted our rivers and turned areas into brownfields. This is what's happening in this area with the overbuilding of one industry. They become vacant. They're vacant now. Office buildings are vacant. And what happens when buildings become vacant, it becomes a liability on the town. They have to support all the problems that go on when the investors are sitting somewhere else. And that's a major concern of mine. I applaud the council. We got a long way to go to control building. There's a lot wrong. But I applaud the council for taking some steps, working up the ladder. You're going in the right direction. And I hope you approve this ordinance.
Good evening. Marlon Kwan, 28 Jay's Corner. I want to thank you, the council, and also the planning board for the progress of this update on the master plan and revised ordinance. You know, Mr. Wright provided a great segue, because at the end of the day, enough is now enough. I believe it's a step in the right direction to place priorities back with the citizens of this town and not with the special interest groups. As you've heard from their very expensive attorneys, some of these lawyers have even publicly called residents of this community a mob for disagreeing with their projects. Both the lawyers and who they represent, for the most part, actually don't live and breathe in Franklin Township. They will use any means to get their points of view across. They've threatened, they've coerced, they've done a number of different things to get their point across. They have no vested interest in this community and destroy more than they actually provide. There are over 1,000 warehouses as defined by this township. There are at least 3 that are not yet leased. The environment, pollution, traffic, and noise, let alone ruining some of the most pristine wetlands in this state. My view is that this is a great start. But in contrast to these attorneys, we should not stop here. We actually need more to preserve the look and feel of Franklin. I would ask that an additional ordinance be considered after this one and enacted to reduce the height of the buildings and a greater setback when adjacent to residential properties. And the recommendation is 30 feet in height and a minimum of 1,000 feet from residences, respectively. I would appreciate your consideration on all of these, and once again, I really thank the township and the planning board for your progression on this matter. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak?
Anyone else at all?
Nirmal Shah, 9 Congress Court. First of all, I wanted to congratulate our new deputy mayor,
No, only things
Ram
regarding
Abrahamson.
this ordinance. Only things regarding this ordinance.
Yeah. So first, and I want to thank the town council for introducing this one. A lot of the people are saying that, you know, this has been rushed, etc. But what I'm saying, what I think is this, that if they really want to build a warehouse, they can always go to the planning board or the zoning board now and get a, you know, go and get a permission. And if the warehouse makes sense, then they will be able to build a warehouse. I think that that's a much more controlled way to build, you know, to shape our town in future. So I really do want our town council to approve this ordinance and then maybe even go further, as my friend Marlon has said. Okay? Thank you.
Others wishing to speak, line right up behind him. Go ahead, sir.
Mayor, council members, thank you for your time. My name is Michael Kovacs. I live on 230 Campus Drive. And since this redevelopment of the area happened, life has been kind of rough on us. First of all, they built that 4-lane highway over there on Campus Drive, and then finally they put a bike lane in there, realizing it's not as good. But they took away so much of my property front, and now all this redevelopment within 1 mile of my house. I've been a homeowner in Franklin 60 years now, so life has been going down and down for me and my family. The traffic, the noise, and now tractor trailers all day and night, and I am in favor of this ordinance, and I hope the right decision will be made. Thank you very much.
Tom Perricone, 627 Quaker Avenue, Somerset. I've been a resident here for 35 years. It's kind of difficult for me to gather my ideas. I should have came a little bit better prepared. I just wanted to get some ideas across. What I've been hearing tonight is about quality of life. And with all the warehouses and truck traffic, it has fallen off. I've seen it fall off probably. I'm thinking I can go back about 10 years. The amount of warehouses and truck traffic. As far as truck traffic, I can show you I have a CDL. I'm a truck driver. I was an owner-operator for 35 years. Traveled the United States, and I've just had it up to here with warehouses. They're overdeveloping the property in the township. I've seen there's a guy across the street from me. He's renting out the trucks, and I have problems with the trucks. The guys pull out in the middle of the street, 3 o'clock in the morning. They'll drop a trailer, hook up to another one, drag it out, drop that out in the street, and then hook up to the one, put it back in the spot, and like, what are you doing here? I got to go to work at 4 a.m. And you guys are out here shuttling trailers around at 3 a.m. And I got right in the guy's face, like, what can I do? I walk over to where the trucks are, got my flashlight, I look on the ground, and I see antifreeze, I see oil that's dripping off the blacktop, going into the grass. I have well water. Probably one of the last houses around, I do get it checked. That's another concern of mine. I know Heller pays a lot of money, $800,000 in taxes, I heard earlier. If I go 2 blocks of my development where I live, I'm sure it equals to that amount of money that we pay. So I'm a taxpayer in the town. I live here. I'm probably going to die here. I got my choice of living wherever I want in the United States, but family, friends are here. That's where I choose to be. And there's just quality of life has gone down. Too many warehouses. So that's all I could think of right now. Thanks.
Debbie Stewart, 2 Farrington Plaza. I want to say I am not against warehouses. That might be contrary to what the gentlemen over here feel, but they do have to be appropriate size, appropriate location, and appropriate distance from sensitive neighbors like residents and schools, which many of the ones on the docket are not. The long-term impacts have to be considered. Are the ratables worth the negative impact to environment and quality of life? Are these businesses taking into account the human element, not just the bottom line dollars and cents of a mega corporation? They sound like they want to be good neighbors to us. They're just one of the gang. Then they should do the right thing. Go along with this ordinance, and when they want to get a warehouse, go to the zoning board, trust that they will consider their plans and if they make sense for the location, they might be accepted. That's all I want to say. Thank you. And thank you for all your, oh my God. Yeah. And thank you, the council, for putting yourselves out there with the courage to consider these things, and the planning board as well. Thank you.
Name's Kent Coping, 43 Bennett's Lane. I chose to get up to speak simply because I know there's a large contingent from one area of the township. I'm on Bennett's Lane. There's been recent warehouse development in that area, and I've heard talk of air pollution. I've heard mention of noise, but I can tell you when I sit on my porch in the evening, I hear the constant drone of warehouse air handlers now. There's a new one. There's a constant glow in the sky. It's not just air pollution, it's noise pollution, light pollution, and that addresses quality of life. So certainly from my point of view, my quality of life is reduced. I really like the dark. I really like the quiet. And that's just gone downhill for, I've been here addressed you since 82, not 85. And I just wanted to give a perspective from a different area of the town where there are already warehouses built and all kinds of attempts to do more.
Anyone else wishing to speak?
Mayor, seeing no one else coming forward, I'll motion to close the public portion of the hearing on this ordinance.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor of closing public portion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion is carried. Public portion is closed. Do I have a motion on the item?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Question for Township Attorney. I had two questions based on something that I heard, and I just wanted to get clarification. For current warehouses, how are they impacted by this? And then two, there's a lot of talk about not being a part of the process. Is there any, reason that would keep any of the, property owners or the representatives, some of which are here, to have been coming to public, any of these council meetings or public-facing thing when this was being brought up many, many, many times? Procedural reason? Or is there a separate type of, conversation that they could have had?
So, a couple of things. So, to the extent that we've made warehouses non-permitted uses, they would be non-permitted uses. That does not mean that those warehouses can all operate. So, if Heller Industries has 10 warehouses with 10 million square feet of space, they can operate those warehouses today without any alteration because they'd be grandfathered. If they were to substantially expand any of those warehouses or tried to build new warehouses, then they would be covered, they would be affected by this. Secondly, I heard a lot, I guess I heard the same comments that you did, which is, well, this ordinance is defective because you didn't call all of the affected property owners in a room and get their input first. Well, first, if you want input into decisions that are made by the council, there's a couple of things you can do. First is you can come to council meetings and you can speak. You have a right to do that. The second thing that you could do is, in all due respect to my colleagues on the bar, you could move here, you could run for the council, and you could get elected. Or you could move here and get the council to appoint you to the planning board. That's how you get involved in the process. We have public hearings. We have hearings we have the planning board meetings and council meetings, and everybody's got a right to come here and be heard. And by the way, I don't believe that the Open Public Meetings Act has any provision in it that says that the council can limit the amount of time that is heard at an ordinance. I think that, in all due respect, once again, to my respected land use colleagues, we need to learn the difference between a zoning application and an ordinance hearing. And this is only covered by the Open Public Meetings Act. And the last thing I have to say, Mayor, which is completely gratuitous by me, and I don't usually do this, there are about 20 municipalities in the state, the 20 highest rateable bases in the state, have $10 billion or more rateable bases. Guess what Franklin's is? 12. It is larger than many. It's larger than Elizabeth. It's larger than Woodbridge. There are a few that are larger. Jersey City is $45 billion because Jersey City is Jersey City. Hoboken is $16 billion. So when people talk about it's going to crush the rateable base of Franklin, think about the fact that Woodbridge has, I don't know, 40% more people here, and Franklin has the same amount of ratables. So I just, when we use terms, and, I say to the mayor all the time, the worst thing in the world anybody could have done is given me an internet access while I was sitting here at a council meeting. But it allows me to do that. So I hope that answered your question, and I apologize for my gratuitous comments.
And I appreciate the answer. Thank you,
Thank
Township
you.
Attorney.
Thank you. Anyone else? Madam Clerk?
Deputy Mayor Barrison.
Yes.
Mayor Kramer.
Yes.
Councilman Onijaka.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pruitt.
Yes.
Councilwoman Udine.
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella.
Yes.
Councilman Wright.
Yes.
It passes. Ordinances on introduction and first reading. Those who are leaving, please do it quietly and close the doors behind you. We have none. We are on to the consent agenda. Items A through W. I'm going to pause a little bit so people can leave.
They're here for you. Guess not.
Okay, any conversations, please have them outside. Please have your conversations in the hallway. Okay, I'll find my glasses and start again. The items A, the consent agenda, items A through W as listed in the consent agenda portion of this meeting are presented to the Township Council for adoption. Do we have a motion on the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Anyone like to pull an item or question an item?
Mr. Mayor, 23-045, the Eastern Avenue Medical Clinic. They've been here for a while, right, Mr. Boynlocker? They do an excellent job.
Got glasses on.
Eastern Avenue Animal Clinic.
Yes.
Oh, yes, absolutely. So Easton Animal Clinic has been here for longer than me, so that means they've been here a long time. So,
Okay.
yes, and they are the veterinary clinic that our animal shelter utilizes on a regular basis.
They're good.
They're very good.
I can
just
vouch
want
for
the
them.
public to know that. And,
Absolutely.
Crystal Purett says they got the thumb up.
Shop
They got the thumb
local.
up. That's all, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, that ends this commercial announcement. Any other items? Madam Clerk?
Deputy Mayor Barrison.
Yes.
Mayor Kramer.
Yes.
Councilman Onijaka.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pruitt.
Yes.
Councilwoman Udine.
Yes.
Councilman Vasanella.
Yes.
Councilman Wright.
Yes.
We have no items to be voted on separately. Number 16, old business, 2023 boards, committees, commissions, and vacancies. Anyone have any nominations? Moving on, appointments of Nick DeMiglio as Chamber of Commerce President Member to the Hamilton Street Advisory Board for a one-year term ending December 31st, 2023. I guess it's, well, do we have a nomination for that? Or is it?
Mr. Mayor, I don't think you need to do a nomination. By ordinance, the president of the
Okay.
Chamber of Commerce sits as a member of the Hamilton Street Advisory Board.
Thank you. I guess then we can do this by acclamation. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Congratulations, Mr. Demiglio. Last item that'll be taped is the executive session resolution 23056, authorized executive session, land acquisition, Hay and Horses LLC, Farm 98, Upper Mine Road. I present the resolution 2354, authorized executive session for the land acquisition to the Township Council for their consideration. All in favor of moving to executive session, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Oh, I'm sorry, we need a motion.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So moved. Second.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. We are now going to enter executive session. We're going to come out of executive session after this and take